But everything you've heard today, all of those reasons are reasons why I support school choice as a concept and charter and cyber charter schools as an implementation of the concept of choice. When I grew up, I grew up in Illinois, and my parents made a choice early on in my education. They saw my sister in 4th grade at a traditional public school, and they saw a failing mechanism. My parents made the choice. At that time, my dad walked in one day, saw what was happening. He was there to pick us up for another reason. Instead of leaving immediately, he marched straight to the office and said, "I'm pulling my kids out." He hated what he saw. And so he made the choice back in 1976 to put my sister and I into a private school. Both of my parents ended up having to work to pay for the cost. And some of you are in that position today where you have discovered cyber charter schools and you're no longer working those two jobs. Your families have gone back to a one-income family because of the ability that cyber charter schools have given you to have an education that's a strong education, that's a promising future for your children. So you as parents have made the decision that says, I can do this for my kids and I don't have to be working that second job. We don't have to have two people out of the home. Like many of you, my wife and I have looked and said, what choices are best for our children? I've got 4 children right now, and another due literally any minute. So if I suddenly dart off the stage, it's because I don't want to miss the birth of my 5th child and not miss the birth of the other 4, so I will be breaking a few laws minimally to get home on the turnpike if I get that call. But the big picture is my wife and I, like you, make choices every day. You make choices, another speaker said, you make choices of what you eat, of what you feed your children, what they listen to, the types of music they listen to, the movies they watch. You make decisions based on what's best for you, for them, and for your family as a whole. And when parents are making those choices, society is better off. When we listen to parents and how they make their choices, and we listen to the voices of individuals like you saying, this is a choice that we have made, and this is a choice that needs to continue, and for the sake of the 30,000 that we know about, we know there are 30,000 waiting, but how many others are standing off in the wings saying, I wonder if this is going to continue. I wonder if we're going to have that option another 2, 3, 4 years from now when my kids are of school age. People are watching this movement. A lot of people are excited about it. My wife and I made the choice years ago to send one of our children we sent 2 of our children to a private school. Early on, we discovered that the younger of the 2, that school wasn't a fit for him. We pulled him out and explored our options. We started with homeschooling. But with a very young child at home, that was very difficult on my wife to do a traditional homeschool program. So we explored cyber charter schools. It wasn't too long after that my eldest child, my son, began experiencing intimidation at the private school we had him at. A lot of people look and say, there's no bullying in private schools. There's no scenario where you actually pay someone to educate your child and then have them bullied. That doesn't happen. Many of you are in this room because you're in cyber charter schools because that is exactly what happened. And it's an unfortunate scenario. And we didn't want to force my son to come out of school, but a couple of incidents happened, and finally the intimidation, the threats, the talk came to a point of physical violence against my son. And it was that incident that turned the switch, flipped the switch in my son's head. And he came home one day and he said, "Dad, can I do that cyber charter school thing?" Parents, you know what it's like to try to protect your child. You know what it's like to try to do what's best for your child. And while we didn't want to force him to do it, he came to the conclusion that day that this was something that he probably would benefit from. And if I had thought ahead, I would have brought him up today and I would have had him stand, because he is an example of a child who is now thriving in a home environment. He has the flexibility that you're also accustomed to, but he has the peace of mind of knowing that he's going to be schooled in a loving environment. It's within his own family. And so for the cyber charter school, that's what works for us. Physical charter school buildings, the physical charter school buildings and the more traditional charter school, those work for other individuals in other situations. But the beauty of choice in Pennsylvania here is that we have the option to choose. Of my 4 children, my youngest is homeschooled. He'll probably be entering into cyber charter school once number 5 arrives. He's already learned how to use the computer, and so we're pretty comfortable that he'll be able to at least do some of the work on his own and begin to become an independent learner, as many of you have already become. The next child, who's 11, also be continuing cyber charter school. My daughter has special education requirements that we feel are best met in a traditional public school. And so whether it's homeschooling, cyber charter schooling, traditional public school, or the private school, let's maintain the choice, let's maintain the ability of our parents to choose, making the best decisions. They trust us in every other area of our lives. Why are we not able to continue to choose what's best for the education of our children? With your help, we can continue to make charter and cyber charter education a possibility and a reality for those 30,000 students that are out there who are already waiting, and for probably another 30,000 that are in the wings watching and seeing what happens with this movement. We as legislators are committed to this cause, and we will move this forward. We've got a governor, a Senate, and a House that we need to continue to work to make this even stronger than it's been. With your help and with your involvement, they'll know how important this is to you and to the others around them, and so I appreciate your help today. God bless you.